So to discuss more about seeking a way to return to OPEC, we have Mr. Erie Soedarmo. He's the senior researcher of Center for Energy Studies at University of Indonesia. All right, so good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Yes, good. Thanks. Fine.
All right, so I guess this is your first appearance on Revenews International. All right, so welcome to Revenews International.
Thank you
And
very
then,
much.
well, it's again about the government's plan for Indonesia to return to Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC. Well, this time as an observer now. Actually, what are the benefits of rejoining OPEC?
Well, if the context is for joining OPEC as an observer, uh, we had been there before in this exclusive club as a full member. And as a full member, we're entitled to be in a meeting in determining the setting up a price for the OPEC in the forthcoming years, and also on the allocations of the volumes of each of the members. That means the total productions of OPEC, and OPEC call for OPEC, things like that. That is the number of volume of crude oil which is required by OPEC to stabilize the price of world crude price. As an observer, we're not entitled to be in a meeting.
Not entitled
Yeah, in a meeting, I mean the very important fundamental meetings. Now we have, you have to remember that there are three cases which is related into in relation with membership of OPEC. There are cases like Libya, Iran, and Iraq. Libya, for example, was banned from selling the crude oils worldwide, simply because the United States called for worldwide boycotts against Libya due to the bombing of the Pan Am plane in Lockerbie, if you remember that. So, but Libya still stays in OPEC, okay, as a member.
Okay.
And Iraq, for example, is 2 sessions of Gulf Wars, all right, and they're still staying also in OPEC. Okay. And Iran, for example, also because of their hard-headed on their nuclear programs, been bullified by countries, and yet they're still in members of OPEC. So why do they want to stay in OPEC as a full member, though they're actually not producing on paper? But they have to manage there to survive, and they have to sell that into sort of black market to some certain government. That is what actually happens. And the rest of the gang and the OPEC clubs will think that, yeah, we'll still need you in here also. You know, there's a mutual interest. It's geopolitics. It's geopolitics because the members like Libya and Iran, they didn't want to go out from OPEC simply because they want to be inside that discussion, because they don't want the price of the crude oil in the so-called, quote unquote, black market will fall down, simply because the rest of the OPEC members suddenly compensate the volume of the absence of the Iraq and Libya in producing the crude oil. At the same, by the same token, the rest of the members of OPEC, they don't like to see that the black market become upsized, enlarged because of that activity. So they meet there, they negotiate, though actually they didn't produce that on paper, the volume, but there is a necessity to be there as geopolitics. But again, they are still maintaining their position as a full member, a full membership in OPEC. So as an observer, Indonesia would, I think, that would be, it's not, beneficial for Indonesia being as an observer in OPEC. But if we are there as a full member, though some people then say, what are we? We are importing countries. We are producing less than what we are actually consuming. But Iran, Iraq, and Libya at the time they produced nothing. This is geopolitics.
Whereas they are still full members of OPEC.
Yes, yeah, and two benefits of being in OPEC. First is because we have to be in that meeting. We can present our case. If the set price of OPEC will then threaten, our state budget, will threaten our development programs and project programs, we can present our case in front of them and negotiate with them. That's number one. We have to be in their discussions. We are able to present our case. And the second one is what the ministers, the Pak Sudirman Said just stated, that by having inside that membership, that's exclusive club, we be able also to negotiate on the volume and the reductions of price, for our projects or our economy. And that means we need that crude oil, we need that distillates, and if we let that open into the international market, will be, as Pak Sudirman said, will be targets of the red seeker.
Okay, so for the other reasons why we have to join OPEC as full member, we'll discuss it in the later segment.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more discussion. Stay tuned on Revenews International.